thinking to myself, like, I can't be the only one who's frustrated with this. So I was like, no, let's give it a go. Let's try to make something cool and different that doesn't exist in the area. Body Shop Fitness is kind of the result of that.
Hello, Superset family. We got Jeff Nelson on this episode, who's the founder and owner of Body Shop Fitness, LLC, not your average gym in Bothell, Washington. The greater Seattle area has no shortage of big box commercial gyms with all the equipment that you need to be in shape. But the serious lifters and competitive athletes, myself included, almost without exception, prefer the smaller, specialty, meathead-friendly gyms where the real work is done. While I was training for my last competitions, my training partner Tim told me, he's like, Colt, you gotta check out this place called Body Shop in Bothell. They have this thing called the Tsunami Bar. They're all decked out with this all-American made Arsenal equipment. Meet me there tomorrow morning and we'll get a session in. I was sold before I went, even for the first time. They got all the fun stuff that I didn't have access to before: bamboo barbells, strongman equipment, and a seemingly endless selection of cable attachments that I didn't even know existed. And my personal favorite, lots of mirrors to flex. I can use chalk and let the animal inside of me loose without annoying everyone else, because everybody that's there just loves to work out. And you can see it in everyone that's there. It's a gym that everyone loves to go to, and there's a common vibe among all the members that they share that you can feel as soon as you step inside. It's a real cool atmosphere. Everybody there just loves to lift. Every Seattle trip that I work out at Body Shop, I'm surrounded by athletes that are better than me, which is how you get better. So there's a mutual respect for everyone that is there, because whether you're in shape or not, pretty much every workout is hands down. It's just flat out a good time. Mr. Jeff was grateful enough to offer some of his time this morning to share what it was like to start Body Shop and how he created the culture that he envisioned. Body Shop Fitness can be found on their website at bodyshopfitnessllc.com and on Instagram at bodyshopfitnessllc. We kick things off in this interview by discussing what prompted Mr. Jeff to open up a gym in an area that already has lots of gyms to choose from, and how he created something unique and niche.
So in the Bothell area, there's a lot of box gyms around. There's the LA Fitnesses, the 24-hour Fitnesses, stuff like that. But there's not a lot of independent stuff around. So there's a pretty significant competitor and powerlifter community around here, and people that just like lifestyle fitness.
Yep.
That the big box gyms don't really cater to that.
Gym rats like us.
So and I was actually one of those people. So I was I've lived around here my whole life, and I got tired of training at 24-hour Fitness and just trying to make do with a lot of their equipment. So I figured I was kind of a corporate warrior at the time, and I was thinking to myself, like, I can't be the only one who's frustrated with this. So I was like, no, let's give it a go. Let's try to make something cool and different that doesn't exist in the area.
Yeah.
This Body Shop Fitness is kind of the result of that.
Awesome. Did you have prior gym experience before? Were you a trainer at another gym, or?
No, I was a competitor. I've been, a gym rat kind of my whole life, more or less.
Yeah,
but
you did really well in NPC, Classic Physique.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun competing, and but as far as like industry experience, having jobs and stuff, I've never worked in a gym a day in my life.
Yeah.
I was actually a banker before owning this place, and then when I was in grad school is kind of when the idea came to me. So this is just sort of been a learning experience as I go, still figuring it out.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. So most, if not all, from what I can see of your equipment is made in the USA. You've got this big American flag hanging on the ceiling. Your Instagram shows a lot of support for veterans. So has biting the bullet for getting higher quality equipment and your American pride been a contributing factor in the patriotic vibe among your community here?
So I'm an Army veteran myself.
Well, thank you for serving.
So it's just sort of, oh, thanks, man. Yeah,
really didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and that's, I'm not trying to, make any kind of real statement about like having the flag or anything. I just, it's my country. I love it. And, I thought it would be, it reflects my personality and what I'm trying to build here. And so, all my equipment is Arsenal strength. So it's all made in Tennessee. And from day one, when I was shopping around, like looking for equipment, trying to figure out what company I wanted to use, Arsenal just kind of stuck out to me as like the best option, because their stuff is they cater to my demographic, right? You know, people that are like lifestyle fitness, like training hard, and their stuff is built for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then just the fact that they're made in Tennessee, and Andrew Hall, the owner of the company, he's also a Marine, and so we just kind of hit it off well. We become good friends. So that's sort of where the roots of all the American stuff came from, as far as the gym goes. So
awesome. Yeah, it's a small world. My new brother-in-law, as of yesterday, he just got married to my sister-in-law, Taylor's sister, Perry. Yep. He grew up just a couple hours from Arsenal Strength's headquarters in Nashville.
Oh, cool. Okay.
In Tennessee. Yeah. Cool. So on the Arsenal equipment, why did you opt for all the Arsenal equipment over more like well-known brands?
Mostly because they have different stuff that it works better for the type of training that we do here. You know, the big kind of name brands like Life Fitness and Cybex and Hammer Strength and all that stuff, like they make good stuff, but it's all very basic. And you know, like I've got a vertical leg press, I've got a standing leg raise
vertical
machine,
leg press destroyed my legs yesterday. Every time I come here, I have to hit it, and it's not in my workout program or anything. But I'm like, man, I never get to use a vertical leg press.
So
and that trebuchet one too, the one that.
Oh yeah, the pendulum squat, right?
Your quads, yeah. I call it the trebuchet because that's what it looks like.
It does look like a trebuchet for sure. So you know, they make different stuff that you don't find in other gyms, and they've put a lot of time and energy into figuring out the ergonomics, you know, making stuff as effective as possible. So I just fell in love with it when I started using it and trying it out, and just, you know, and then the company on top of that, like their service and kind of what they stand for just resonates with me. I've become good friends with the folks over at Arsenal. I just deal with them, and so it just seemed like a good fit once I started shopping around, and I didn't really get that feeling with any other company. And you know, I've used, you know, anyone who's ever been to basically any gym anywhere has used all the other stuff, so you kind of get, you know what the deal is, but this stuff is a little bit unique, and you don't find it anywhere. So it was just on top of just loving the stuff, it was a good market differentiator and just creating something different that doesn't exist in other places. So
yeah, it's a different feel, like using this equipment versus something else. I would say the other ones feel smoother, but these feel almost more mechanical in a way that you're more in tune with everything that's happening inside the machine. Like you're being an Army vet, I hope you'll appreciate this, but I built my own AR-15 recently, and when I use it and when I charge it, like I can feel everything happening inside of it.
Yeah.
and so I kind of get that same feeling here.
No, I mean, it's, you know, it's a lot of that, and this stuff is also, it's very simple. You know, there's not a lot of, like, you know, moving parts on most of it. So on top of it being really simple, it's also really humbling. You know, they put the fulcrums on a lot of the pivot points a lot further forward. So if you're used to loading up 4 plates and something, do 2 here, and that kind of thing. So it's a different experience training on this type of equipment for sure.
And something that I've noticed is every other gym that I go into, there's pretty much always a maintenance guy that's fixing stuff. And whenever I come work out here, like it doesn't look like, I mean, like you guys, you're doing some construction and stuff, whatnot. But like as far as the machines go, I never see somebody having to like repair everything in the way that all the big box gyms that I go to. It's like they have a full-time staff just dedicated to fixing everything because it's all shipped from overseas.
So that's what's great about this stuff is you know, if a part breaks, because stuff does break, but I mean, you know, it's commercial quality stuff, so you know, everything is going to get broken here and there. But they're in Tennessee, so I just email them, say, hey, can you overnight this to me, and then they send out a new part the next day. And you know, usually it's just like a pin.
And they're so good on their social media too. Like you don't get that with all these other big companies that have been around forever. You know, it's like tag them in your Instagram posts, and like, you know, nothing ever happens. But when I tag Arsenal Strength, they're always reposting my stories and sharing it and stuff. But I'm like, hey, it makes me feel really special. Awesome. So growth. We were talking before about how your clientele developed primarily by word of mouth epidemic and by Instagram. So was this word of mouth as simple as you just like opened up your doors and you told a bunch of people to share it with your friends and that spread from there, or did it take some more effort on your part to get the ball rolling?
That's kind of a wild story. So when we first opened, I opened November of, what was it? It was November of 2019. And then the pandemic shut everything down March of 2020. I think I have those dates correct.
Mhm.
So we were open 4 months to the day prior to the shutdown. And so when I first opened, we actually had a pretty good little pre-sale. And, you know, I have like a pretty awesome like retail location. So I was trying to leverage that as best I could, you know, putting signs on the front.
Perfect. You're right next to a super dope bar that's really well known, and between a couple grocery stores, coffee stands, lots of traffic.
Yeah, so tons of traffic. So, you know, I've got all these windows out. Like when we first opened, I was doing a lot of the traditional marketing, you know, just like I was covering my windows with like, you know, pre-opening specials and all that kind of stuff. And had
a big grand opening and served pancakes and stuff.
Yeah. And then I was, you know, calling all my friends, telling them to come in here, bring their friends, and trying to do that. And it was working. And definitely, you know, I was like happy with how things were going. And then the pandemic hit and we had to shut down for a while. And then basically once I finally opened my doors back up, because I stayed closed for, I don't remember exactly how long it was. I want to say it was right around 60 days or so. I stayed closed, and then I just couldn't afford to stay closed any longer. So I finally opened back up, and I don't even remember like announcing to anybody that I was open. I just told a couple of my friends that they wanted to come work out, they could, and they could bring friends. Mm-hmm. And it was like within 24 hours, the place was full. It was like as soon as word got out that there was a gym that you could get access to, like during the pandemic, which, you know, was a huge risk. It was a huge business risk, you know, as far as like, you know, dealing with the state and all the risk of being shut down and all that stuff. But it was like, I think so. COVID in that sense, like the whole shutdown and everything kind of did me a favor as far as getting my brand out there and getting people aware that I just even existed.
Yeah.
So, because it was like, I told literally it was like 2 or 3 people that they could come train here if they wanted to. And, you know, if they wanted to bring friends, they could. And then just like it exploded and like the phone started ringing off the hook. I was selling like 40 memberships a day. Like it was just bonkers. Literally, we had a line out the door of people waiting to sign up for memberships for a while there, which was kind of terrifying as a business owner to have a line out of your business when everything is supposed to be shut down.
I bet.
And you know, we definitely had to deal with that side of things a little bit. But as far as like, you know, just getting the business up and running, like things are moving along, like on track to, you know, what I had hoped for prior to the shutdown. And then once we reopened, it was like things exploded, and I'm probably like 2 years ahead of where I anticipated being now that, like, thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
Which was not, I wasn't trying to take advantage of any situation or, you know, or like, you know, give the man the middle finger about the rules or anything. I was just trying to survive because, you know, it's expensive to keep this place open. Yeah. So
and helping other people survive. Because,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
West Coast Fitness and Lacey, they stayed open. And, and it's just the same thing as you know, it wasn't about trying to make a statement or anything. It was like, no, look, like people need the gym right now.
Yeah.
And people come here for their mental clarity and for their peace of mind. And to take that away from people can be it was detrimental to me. It really was.
Yeah, I believe it, man. Yeah. So that was actually one of the most rewarding things about like the whole situation is like when I did finally open my doors, it was like story after story after story of people coming in and just like, I can't believe like you're saving me right now. You know, like how grateful people were to have an outlet, you know, a physical outlet to be able to come in and, you know, get that energy out, especially since everybody was cooped up all year last year in their house. So they didn't really have a lot of options. So that was super cool. And then now things have kind of mellowed out as far as, you know, all the crazy restrictions and everything, but it's you know, my brand is now out there, so people kind of understand a little bit better, at least in the Bothell area, of what this place is, and it's been a pretty awesome experience so far.
Yeah, awesome. Mm-hmm.
You're good.
I'll set it out. No problem. All right. So dogs. So your dog Yogi is like everybody's best friend here, and not only that, but it looks like you actually encourage other people to bring their dogs into your gym. And I'm like, I'm not even a dog person, but I can't help but smile when Yogi comes up to me in between sets and wants a little love and stuff. And like, so that's kind of different, but I mean, at the same time, I love it. So is there a specific reason?
Not really. I'm just a dog guy. I love dogs. And then, you know, I wanted to make this place mine, and I wanted to make it different, and, you know, a place that like you had an experience when you come here. And I don't know, I feel like having dogs running around saying hi to you between sets, like it just creates a better experience. And you know, like my little guy, even though he's passed out right here, like normally he's out there saying hi to the members all day long, and I don't know. It just seems fun to me. So I figure if it was fun to me, maybe we'll try it and see if the members like it. And so far, I've had nothing but good responses from everybody as far as like having the dogs hanging around. So
yeah,
it's just been like a cool thing that we're able to do since we're an independent place. I don't have to deal with, all the rules of corporate. It's just one of the little perks of being an owner, I guess.
Exactly. If you had to start over, is there anything you would do different?
Oh man, that's a big question. I think I probably would have looked into how tough the regulations are in various cities a little bit harder, because so I'm in Bothell here, and now I know, I didn't know at the time, but now I know that Bothell is, as far as like red tape and dealing with regulations and opening a business, like Bothell is like one of the hardest places to do that in Washington State. It's an absolute nightmare. So like I never want, if you're thinking about opening a business in Bothell, I'll be honest, don't. It's terrible. Yeah, so just doing more research on that, because when I finally signed a lease on this place, I'd been looking for a location for like a year. So I was kind of, it was at like the peak of the market. So there was just no inventory available as far as like places to lease, excuse me, for like a commercial space. So when I finally found this place, I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. Like this is the perfect location. But the red tape turned into a nightmare. That was months and months of just waiting on the city of Bothell to approve everything. So that's probably the biggest one that I would say I would do differently. I don't know that I would have still said no to this location, because this location is fantastic, but it was just that was a kick in the balls that I wasn't ready for sure.
Yeah. And you think about opening up a second location, right?
Kicking around that idea. It'll still be a little while before I'm ready to do something like that, but I'm definitely that's the direction that I'm eyeballing. Yeah, cool. For sure. So
any idea where? Same area? Or I mean, obviously not in Bothell.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm right now I'm kind of eyeballing a couple different places. I don't want to like put a name to any of them yet. I'm not quite ready to do that. I'm still kind of figuring out what how everything is going to play out. But hopefully in like the next year or so, I can get another one up and going. Yeah. Fingers crossed,
Yeah. Is there a challenge that caught you by surprise other than the area that you didn't expect when you opened up Body Shop?
Well, I sure as hell wasn't ready for a pandemic. That was not my business plan. That was probably the big one. Other than that, I mean, as far as like running a business, I wrote out a pretty detailed business plan. I tried to go through as many different little details as possible when I was setting this place up. And I will say, like, if you are thinking about opening up a business, like, you can't get too detailed. Like, go through, build as detailed a plan as you possibly can. And then when you think you have enough detail, go through it again and add more. And you will only do yourself favors, because that, I didn't know if that was the right thing to do or not. I was just taking a stab at it, and it, like, having that much detail and having a plan for every little thing paid off tremendously. So that was probably the biggest thing that I came to appreciate. And it also, like, having everything so detailed, it kind of took out a lot of the surprises other than like the crazy stuff like COVID. So yeah, as far as like the day-to-day and just how everything works, yeah, there's no real surprises there. Other than maybe how exhausting the hours get when you first start. Like, that was not really a surprise, but it's sort of like you don't really realize how many hours you're putting in until you're putting in as many hours as you're putting in, that kind of thing. So, but
did you have any help at the start, or was it just a one-man show?
I was a one-man show here until about 2 weeks ago. I finally hired my first employee. And
really?
But I mean, I was a one-man show as like on paper, but like my girlfriend was always in here helping me out when she could, and
had a lot of hands on deck.
Yeah, I got like a lot of friends that would kind of help me out as they could here and there. But as far as like the actual day-to-day running of the place, yeah, I was a one-man show, which fortunately this place is like just the right size. Like, it's about as big as one person could kind of handle. Any bigger and it would be a bit much, and any smaller and it would be too small of a facility. So and that wasn't planned. I just got lucky with as far as like the size of the place and it being big enough for a one man to handle. Yeah. So, but my life has gotten considerably easier in the last week.
I bet
that I finally got a little help. So,
and you being a bodybuilder too, I would imagine that there's probably been some exchange of goods too for like I'll help you out with this if you help me out. Like, cause man, like my attorney, it's like I'm giving him nutrition plans and my coaching him and stuff, and it's like, how much do I owe you? My God, nothing. Just take it off my bill. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's one of the awesome perks of owning a gym is I know people in every different like sector of the economy, and you know, people are always happy to work out trades and deals where they can, which has been pretty cool. And if I like the guy that's doing the electrical work in the remodel right on the other side of the wall from us, like I'm trading him a membership for his work here. So that's been a pretty cool perk. So.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. I was doing T-bar rows like right next to where he was working. I was like, bro, like can I use the T-bar row? Like, is that all right? And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. Like, I'll just scoot the cords and everything over. So good stuff. Were there any like big serendipities when you opened the gym? Like, oh, cool, I didn't realize this would happen when you open this up, or?
Yeah, like the big one just being like how many people you get to know, and then watching. I don't even know how to put this. So like. What I never really thought of or anticipated was how like watching everybody get to know each other and like creating an entire network of people that now know each other that didn't before.
And that's like the biggest thing that you notice when you walk in the doors here.
Yeah, and like I didn't really I never even thought about that. Like that was never crossed my mind prior to opening this place, and then now just watching it every day, watching this crazy network of people that now like hang out outside the gym. Yeah, it's super cool. It's probably my favorite part.
So it's like this. It's like clockwork. It's like the same crew every morning. It's like, oh yeah, this guy's on that machine. That guy's on that machine. That sounds about right.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so supersets. As you know, a superset is when you train opposing muscle groups in a way that they complement each other, and the performance on seemingly unrelated exercise, like bench press and chin-ups, for example, you can do more on your bench by the end of the workout. You can do more on your chin-ups by the end of the workout because of the pump and a bunch of scientific things that a lot of people don't really know, but you actually get better at both exercises by the end of your workout. So has your experience in Classic Physique in your own bodybuilding training been a superset that makes you a better gym owner, better in your relationships, other aspects of life outside the gym?
Probably the biggest, I guess, thing that relates, like that makes, I guess, translates to owning a business from like competing and that side of things is just having a solid understanding of like what a good gym is and like how to being a dedicated user of the facility like translates tremendously in being a business owner of a gym, which a lot of gyms, the owner doesn't even use the facility. That's kind of like the stereotype in the fitness industry is like, owners don't even lift. I try very hard not to be that because, I still have ambitions as far as competing and all that stuff goes.
Yeah, because before we started recording, I asked you, I was like, because most other gym owners that I talk to, they just get completely burnt out and they lose their physique and they get out of shape. And so that's inspiring to hear that that's not the case with you. There's hope. Yeah. There's hope for me then.
I'm still trying, man. Yeah, because like we were talking about earlier, is like I train less and less hard now than I ever have owning a gym. Finally, I'm sort of coming out of that funk from the last 2 years of being a one-man show. Now that I have Dave in here helping me out at my training in the last week has gotten immensely better, but it's tough training in my own facility. I actually often go over to, I've got a couple other buddies that have gyms as well. I work out outside of my gym a lot just so I can just
like actually get a workout.
Headphones on, hood up, and just be left alone, and nobody needs anything from me. So it's just a challenge to keep that training intensity as the owner. But I love being here. I love being in my facility, and I love hanging out around my members. So it's fortunately for me, I've like set myself up to be in a place where I want to be. So that allows me to like keep training, and I haven't slacked off entirely. I'm still, I'm trying to compete hopefully this fall. So my training should be ramping up here. Hopefully, we'll see just how business goes and all that stuff. I'm not like, official on it yet. I'm still talking to my coach. We're kind of tentatively planning stuff right now, but we'll see.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Are you going to do Classic Physique again?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's kind of like my category. It's where I feel like I'm built for.
Me too. Yeah. No, I'm all about the old school, the classic poses. What's your favorite pose?
I don't know. I just like mandatories, like the comparisons and all the mandatories. So like anything.
Well, you got the solid build, so you probably do pretty well with just that. I go for the more artistic poses.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny enough, I actually hate posing routines. I like doing my routine on stage.
That's the best part, though. That's my favorite part.
The worst part for me. I hate that. Like, if I could skip that altogether, I would, because I just like the competing. I like being up there compared, like actually feeling like I'm competing against the other guys on stage. Like, that's my favorite part. So then, like, as far as like doing all the routine stuff where you're just trying to, like, do the old school, which, I mean, that's cool too. And like, I like, hitting the most, favorite classic pose and all that stuff. But if I could skip that, I totally would.
Yeah, not to be weird, but like over the summer when I first met you, I was like, holy cow! Like he has a solid X frame. Like your proportions and everything. It's very well balanced.
I'm trying, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's we're all, the day you start lifting is the day you're forever small. So in my mind, I'm fighting that battle, right? We all are. So.
I know. Yeah, there's what? That's another thing that I love about this gym is that I haven't figured out scientifically like why this happens, but I think it's like the low ceiling and stuff. Like, you ever go to a comedy club and it's like a big auditorium or something, and like the jokes just don't land. But if you go to a real comedy club, like the ceiling's low and everything, and the dynamics there, and then like the energy is just crazy. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why I like this gym so much. But when I look in the mirror, like, I look big, and when I go to these bigger gyms that have like bright lights and everything, like, I just look tiny, and I'll have a good pump and everything too, and but it messes with my head so bad.
That's funny.
Yep. Cool. So if you could offer one piece of advice to an aspiring gym owner that wants to open a niche bodybuilding gym similar to like what you did with Body Shop, what advice would you send them off with?
Probably, I guess the big thing is just figure out what, how do I even put this? Find something different. Be different than what's available out there, right?
Because you can't compete with LA Fitness.
Right? Yeah, you can't compete with the box gyms. Like, create something that gives people a reason to want to come to your place over something, anything else that's out there, right? Find a gap in the market that doesn't exist. Right. Be it just different kinds of equipment or a different vibe or, whatever it is that you like, see that doesn't exist currently. That's going to be your biggest one. And then the other thing is just don't quit.
All right, Jeff. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a huge inspiration to me, and can't wait to come back here and see you first thing tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was an honor.
Absolutely. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Hey, Superset family. Thank you very much for listening. We'd love to hear what you think of the show, so any ratings or reviews are very much appreciated. We have a new episode every Saturday morning, so please subscribe so that you don't miss those. At the time of this recording, which is May 22nd of 2021, we have lots of exciting things coming up, so if you would follow us on Instagram at SupersetYourLife and subscribe to our newsletter, which is by the link in our website, then we will keep you updated on what's new. Right now, though, we just added some new Skullbellz vinyl stickers to our merchandise page, about the size of your cell phone, and with the new logo done by the amazing artist and comedian friend of mine, Flicking Jane Malone. Robert Sykes and Joseph Gomez, previous guests on our show, they're called the Keto Savage and Joke Daddy, respectively. They both have their own stickers for their brands, and so I got kind of jealous, and I thought it was pretty cool, so now I feel almost as cool as them. They're super high quality. You won't be disappointed. They're $5 each, so stick them on your laptop, your refrigerator, your cat. There's a discount code #Skullbellz for 20% off at checkout. Shipping's on me because all it requires is a stamp, and I can swing that, believe it or not. Thank you very much again. God bless you. Bye-bye.